He was the quiet boy in the corner, the one you never really noticed. His name was Ethan, and he grew up in a place where everyone smiled, but no one ever truly saw each other. From the outside, his neighborhood looked perfect, but inside every home, private battles were being fought. Ethan's battle was silence. It's not that he couldn't speak, he just didn't know how. He felt everything so deeply, but in a world that rewarded loudness, his soft voice always got lost. While other kids were out on the football field, Ethan was tucked away in the back of the library. Books were his best friends. They never interrupted him, never judged him. They just welcomed him in. His love for writing was his biggest secret, a treasure he kept locked away. His father was a tough ex-military man who believed emotions were a sign of weakness. His mother worked double shifts as a nurse, exhausted and barely present. They loved him, but life had hardened them, and they forgot how to listen. At school, Ethan felt invisible. It wasn't that he was bullied, he was just unseen. And sometimes, that hurts even more. When he was just 12, Ethan discovered his secret dream. He wanted to be a writer. Putting stories on paper helped him make sense of the world, helped him sleep when anxiety kept him awake. It was his survival guide through the noisy school hallways where confidence was everything. But one night at dinner he got the courage to mention it. His father just laughed. "A writer? Son, writing doesn't pay the bills. Get real." Those words hit him like a punch, carving a deep wound in his heart. So, he stopped sharing. 2 years later, he poured his soul into a school writing competition. He wrote about a boy who bottled up his feelings until his heart felt like it was about to explode. It was the best thing he had ever written. But his story was never even read. The teacher misplaced the entries. It was a small mistake, but for Ethan, it was a massive heartbreak. That night, silent tears streamed down his face, the kind of tears no one ever sees or asks about. Life moved on. High school ended, college began, and everyone around him seemed to have their life figured out. Ethan didn't. To help his family with the bills, he got a job at a local supermarket, stacking shelves, scanning barcodes, bagging groceries. Day in and day out, it was the same polite, robotic smile. "Have a good day. Thanks for shopping." His notebooks, filled with half-finished stories and forgotten dreams, gathered dust in a drawer. But a tiny voice inside him kept whispering, "Write again." He did his best to ignore it, until one night, everything changed. It was almost closing time, and the store was quiet. An old man was sitting on a bench in the cereal aisle. He wore a warm coat and had kind eyes. As Ethan walked by, the man smiled. "Long day, kid?" he asked. Ethan just nodded. Then the man asked a simple question that struck a nerve. "Do you like what you do?" Without thinking, Ethan whispered, "No." The old man's eyes softened with understanding. "Then why are you here?" Ethan couldn't explain the real reasons: the rent, the expectations, the fear. He just shrugged and said, "I don't know." The old man nodded. "I can see it in your eyes," he said gently. "You're carrying emotions you've never shared. That kind of weight breaks people slowly." Before he left, he handed Ethan a small leather notebook for the words you're too afraid to say aloud. A complete stranger had seen the real him, something his own family had missed for years. That night, Ethan opened the notebook. The blank page was both terrifying and inviting. And then, he started to write. Not a story, not a poem, just his raw feelings. The loneliness, the pressure, the silence, the fear of disappointing everyone and never being understood. The words poured out of him like a dam breaking after years of holding back a flood. He wrote every single night after that. Sometimes he cried as he wrote. Other nights he found himself smiling for the first time in ages. Writing became his therapy. But life wasn't done testing him. One evening he came home to his parents fighting over a stack of bills. His father slammed his fist on the table, yelling, "We can't live like this." His mother was crying silently. A wave of guilt washed over Ethan. He had to help, but he had to fix it. So he took on extra shifts, worked late into the night, and once again, he stopped writing. Responsibility felt like a chain wrapped around him. Then, after one brutal double shift, he finally broke. Sitting alone in his car, he completely fell apart, shaking, sobbing, struggling to breathe. It was a storm of burnout, anxiety, and pure hopelessness. He looked at his reflection in the rearview mirror and asked himself, "What am I even doing with my life?" A few weeks later, while cleaning out a storage closet at work, he found the notebook again. He opened it and reread his own words, feeling the raw emotion rush back. He realized writing didn't depress him, it freed him. That night, he took a chance. He wrote a short story called The Silent Storm, about a boy who hid his emotions until they nearly destroyed him. It was honest and real. He posted it online anonymously, not expecting anything, just a release. The next morning, he woke up to thousands of notifications. His story had gone viral. Comments flooded in from all over the world. "I felt this deeply. This is my life in words. Thank you. I needed this. Your writing saved me tonight." Ethan started to cry, but this time there were tears of relief. He had finally been heard. His story was shared on blogs, reposted by mental health pages, and podcasters invited him to speak. People started calling him a writer, the one word he never dared to call himself. One message in particular stopped him in his tracks. "Your story stopped me from making a very bad decision tonight. Thank you for existing." In that moment, Ethan realized his pain had a purpose. One evening he came home and found his father sitting alone reading something on his phone. It was Ethan's story. When their eyes met, his father's voice trembled. This was you this whole time." Ethan just nodded. For the first time ever, his father hugged him. A real, emotional, human hug. "I'm sorry, son," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I never knew you were hurting. I never knew you needed someone. I should have listened." They both stood there, crying silently. Two men finally healing years of unspoken pain. Ethan never stopped writing after that. His following grew, publishers contacted him, and his first book, The Silent Storm, became a worldwide bestseller. He traveled the world, speaking at events about mental health, encouraging others to speak up, to feel, to dream. He received thousands of letters from people saying, "You saved my life. You made me feel less alone. I decided to get therapy because of your story." His pain had become someone else's hope. His silence had become someone else's voice. At a packed auditorium in New York City, Ethan delivered a speech that would inspire millions. He said, "People think silence is calm, but sometimes, silence is the loudest cry for help." Millions of people walk around every day with storms inside them. Unspoken feelings, unfelt love, unhealed wounds. If you are one of them, you are not weak, you are human. And your story matters, even if no one has heard it yet. Speak your truth. Share your heart, write your pain, because someone out there is waiting to heal through your words. The crowd erupted, not for fame or success, but for the powerful truth he shared. Every quiet person carries a story the world needs to hear. Every silent heart hides a storm no one sees. But storms don't last forever. And one day your voice will change someone's world. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that matters.